Listen, you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of your favorite new podcast entitled We Hate You in an Actor. Once again, gather around. We're here live from the Panorama Brand Studios here in Houston, Texas, Houston's premier podcast studio. And this is We Hate You Internet. It is a show that is designed to bring awareness to some of the problematic effects of the internet on our lives, as well as celebrate the beautiful simplicity of our humanity. I'm Wilford Hamilton, your host. I know you didn't recognize me because, you know what I'm saying? I got that new dude. But it's me. Sitting alongside me, of course, is I see that the bangs are back. You know, she rocking Argyle. You know what I'm saying? It's University Day, apparently, and she represent. Her name is
Clara Aguirre.
Clara Aguirre.
Yeah, I busted the bangs out today.
I see.
Their booking fee was reasonable this time.
I guess I'll go with the bangs. Listen. Before we get started, we want to jump in. We really want to start elevating the presence of our podcast. We want to really encourage people to really be engaged and take part in the platform. So if you haven't already, we want to ask that you subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and click the link, click the button down below. If you're watching, go ahead and subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and hit the like button. Please, it helps us in pushing this content out further. And yes, we have been growing. Our subscriber count is going up, as you can see from the last time you may have saw. Our Instagram is continuing to grow. We have 5,600 followers at this present moment. Oh, well, maybe by the time you're watching this, it may be more than that. And we're getting a lot of feedback, getting a lot of more reviews on
Apple and Spotify.
Correct. And if you're listening, go ahead and rate the show, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review. Something as simple as "I love this show" is sufficient.
Yeah.
But we want to encourage everyone to really tap in and take part in the growth of this platform, because we are indeed growing, and we thank you for that. Also, for those that want to support, we thank all those that have supported us thus far. And bought us a coffee. In the link you'll see, the description you'll see below, you will have the option to support our show and just the expenses of what we have going on, because we're sitting in front of these lights and this stuff ain't free. The men in the back will tell you that. And we greatly appreciate any support that you can give us. Something as simple as $2 for a cup of coffee. You know what I mean? Make that a double. Because, I mean, obviously, Clara likes coffee, too.
I like double shot,
Man! So, yeah, if you could just click the link and help support the platform so we can continue to move forward. We have some big plans, and that takes big budgets. So, we greatly appreciate it. So, for today, we want to jump right into our topic for today. It's a powerful one. I think it's one that will impact any and everyone who tunes in, and it'll bless people's lives. We're going to be talking about how to find your purpose. That is a question that everybody and their mama have asked themselves at some point or another. And I believe that we have some information to share that can really help expedite your arrival to that answer. I think that it's a journey in order to find that. You know what I mean? But I think that, like I said, we're going to give you some 3 points today that'll really help you expedite or shorten the distance it'll take for you to really find out the answer to that monumental question. And so we want to start first talking about the idea of purpose. People often use that term, but I think what people are really saying, honestly, is how can I be useful? How can I be impactful? What is it that I can do that will make an impact on the world, on the lives of people around me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, we want to start with, first and foremost, just understanding that you have to know who you are. And that's one of those things that it's such a difficult thing. And we say, well, what does that have to do with the internet? Well, because we live in a world where we are always focused on other people. We're always watching other people. And it becomes very, very difficult to take the time, and we don't have a lot of time either in our lives because we're so busy and so distracted, to actually get to know yourself. You have the versions of that you have the version of yourself that you want to be, that you're aspiring to be, and you compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
But the reality is that you have to start really being, and the only way you're going to really get to know yourself is by being honest with yourself.
And spending time with yourself, like actually being alone and understanding you, like taking the time to get to know you, building that relationship with you.
Very, very true. You know what I mean? Like a person, you know, oftentimes people run away from the ugly truths about themselves. You know what I mean? Or they exaggerate, you know, other facts about themselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They paint themselves bigger than life sometimes.
They try to hide that shadow.
Correct. And both things are very dangerous and they're not beneficial. That's what I was saying. They're not beneficial to you to hide an illusion, an imagination. You know, you have to be honest with yourself, good, bad, and ugly. You got to say, okay, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm not good at. There are things that you can improve in. There are things that you will never be the best in. And that's okay. That's what it means to be a human being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've talked about that in other episodes. But like you like I said, in order for you to find your purpose or for you to find the way that you can be impactful, you have got to know or get to know who you are. You know what I mean? I know you made some little statement, but you want to kind of jump on a little bit more of that?
Yeah, no, I think that's, honestly, I feel like that's something that, especially like around the age of 18 and like in your 20s, even some people in their 30s, like what I've noticed is sometimes people will spend their lives just kind of running around and trying to be someone that they're not, either to satisfy other people or to kind of tell themselves like it's okay. And it's unfortunate because if you just spent a little bit of time alone with you, if you just even if it's difficult for the first few times that you do it, you'll get to know that person inside. And I think that it's so beneficial because you're saving yourself so much mental anguish in doing so. Like in those moments where you're kind of like running from it, you might feel okay for that day, that hour, that moment, but that goes away, and then you're stuck with again that same question: who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And it's tough. And that's not necessarily, I mean, at the end of the day, no one can answer that question but you.
That is true.
So I agree. I think that it's important to get to know you. And the way that you do that is by prioritizing that relationship with yourself, taking the time to get to know who you are, and being unconditionally loving to you, not in a narcissistic way, because I know that that's kind of like a delicate little dance. But I think it's important to know, like, okay, you know what? I may not be the best artist, but, I love to sing, or I am really great at talking to people. And so those are important to recognize. It's a part of accepting it as a whole and embracing it. So I think it's it truly helps. It really helps in the process of finding your purpose. So
it's interesting because a lot of times people, it like you said, especially at that age of like 18 through 20, college age.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people in our audience that are around that age, in that age group.
Yeah.
And you're going off to college, and you've been instructed your whole life through the educational system or by your parents.
Yeah.
They told you, hey, you need to go to college, you need to do this,
figure out what you want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people, and this is something that's really interesting, a lot of times people will align their purpose with their career.
Yes.
And they think that what you do for a living should be your purpose.
Yeah.
And the two don't have to necessarily be synonymous. They don't have to be the same thing. What you do for a living is just what you do for a living. It's what you do to get the resources necessary to like survive in life. You know what I mean? that's your job.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily have to be
Your
like
purpose.
your purpose or your passion.
Yeah.
It could be something, matter of fact, like you may use your job to get your necessities and also to fund what you want to do as far as like your purpose, the thing that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's perfectly okay. Because when you work, there's always going to be an aspect of what you do that you don't like. We talked about that before. You know, there's always going to be an aspect that even if it's something that you love to do, like there's going to be a certain part of it that you really don't like that much. Like I enjoy coming over here and running my mouth. You know what I mean? I paid the time, you know what I mean? Pay for the time to run my mouth as much as I want. You know, I enjoy that. But like putting all this together is a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We texting back and forth throughout the week and like doing research and
planning
planning, putting stuff together. You know what I mean? It's like, man, it's like a ton of work and it's like, it's hard sometimes. You know what I mean? I wish that I can just talk the whole time, but like, that's not, that's
not realistic.
Exactly.
Really. Yeah.
Exactly. And so like, so anything that you do for a living is going to be an aspect of it that you don't like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But having a job, a career, whatever the case may be, it's best to have something that you enjoy doing, I guess.
Yeah.
But you don't have to necessarily think that, okay, what I do for a living as far as my resources has to be the thing it's tied to my purpose. It doesn't have to be.
Yes.
You can always be doing something else. And then another thing too is that as you're making this pursuit, right? And this is kind of leading to our second point. You know what I mean? Sometimes as you discover yourself and you discover your gifts, like I said, second point, I guess we'll go ahead and say it, is that your purpose will be tied to your gifts and abilities. And it's interesting because you may be a person, I'll give you an example, right? You may be a person that likes to sing, right? But you don't like singing in crowds. Like singing in front of people makes you nervous. You don't like that. But you love to sing though. Singing makes you happy, but getting up in front of large crowds is something that you're not comfortable with. Now people will push you in that direction. Oh wow, you have talent. You should go be a singer, right? And it can be a really dangerous thing because you have the ability to sing. You may have the talent, but that may be something that you're uncomfortable with. But then in order for you to say, well, this is what I should be doing, but then you have to start playing this really like. You have to start playing with the mechanism in your brain and almost like, and I've heard other artists do this, like, well, they have a different version of themselves when they're on stage. And I think that's a very dangerous thing because anytime you start trying to like create separate personalities and all that kind of stuff, like that's basically you on the borderline of schizophrenia. You know what I'm saying? Like if we just keeping it real, like that's one of the things that issues that actors have. You see actors like in Hollywood, they're in movies, they take on these characters and they empty themselves of who they are, and then they put on this. These like your A-list character, A-list actors. This is what they do. They fully take on this other character. They become this other person.
They even like lose weight, change their bodies.
Yes, and as you do that over and over again, you hear it in their interviews. You hear it like they start to lose touch of who they actually are. They get so caught up in playing these characters.
Yeah.
That they don't know who they are. They've lost themselves. And that's a terrible thing. You know what I mean?
Scary.
Yes, it is. And we applaud it, yay, as we watch the movies. But you don't realize these are real human beings. And that's one of the things that that's something for me personally that I'm really passionate about as far as like this platform is concerned, is helping people to stay human. You know what I mean? Man, because like you're only meant to be like you're here temporarily. You're not here forever. Like you're not here to try to like
you're not immortal.
Yeah, like you're not here like to save the world or like take like everybody's thing is not that big, and some things that people are involved in their lives, like people look at celebrities or whatever, or their idols, people that are impactful, politicians, whatever, and they like, oh wow, like look at the impact that they're having on the world, how much they're doing, and like, but some of the stuff that people do is not really good for them. Like it's really like a detriment to them, but they do it because they find themselves in it. A lot of times, celebrity, that happens to them. Like they did it. I remember I saw an interview with Whitney Houston, right? And obviously Whitney Houston, like all world talent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she was just saying this is kind of toward the later part of her life. You know what I mean? This is kind of really when she started you start kind of see
Yeah.
kind of some of the strings start to kind of unravel a little bit right when it was starting. And one of the things that she said, you know, she was just like, I just love to sing. I just wish I could just sing. You know, but all this other stuff gets in the way.
That is so sad.
You know what I mean? And so you have a little, like, you have children, little girls that grew up watching her, like, oh, I want to be like her. But they really don't understand what her life is. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's just a human being that want to sing. She loves to sing, but all the other stuff gets in the way. You know what I mean? And so, like, you have to be true to yourself. You have to be honest. That's what I'm saying. You have to be honest with yourself and then find a way to use your talent and your ability in a honest and healthy way.
Yeah.
Because that's where your passion, that's where your purpose will lie.
Yeah.
In there. Now, there are aspects of your life where you may have like self-improvement, right? Like you may be nervous about singing in crowds. Maybe that's something that you have to get over. That's a possibility too. You know what I mean? But you have to be honest with yourself in that process. If it's like some situation where it's like you have to, like I said, you have to become someone else, then you playing with fire.
You're not being true to yourself.
Exactly. You playing with fire at that point. So, you know, gifts and abilities. We talked about this before. Episode 5, we talked about talent. And we talked about how everybody's born innately with talent. Excuse me. You stay human. But you think you see like LeBron James, like he is a freak of nature when it comes to athleticism. Like his athletic package is like he's like 1%. You know what I'm saying? To be that tall, that big, that fast, that strong, like he's athletic in NBA terms. You know what I mean? And all those guys are athletic. You know what I mean? And so like that's natural for him though, that he's born with that. Now he works on his body obviously, but like he come out of his mama with that with that natural ability. You know what I'm saying? And some people are like that. They're naturally strong. Some people are like naturally really smart. I mean, their ability to process information. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now we talked about that in intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Like what you're fed as far as the information that you receive will dictate how much knowledge that you have. But intellect may be measured by the ability to process information. And some people, they may not have been exposed to as much knowledge, but their ability to like, when they receive knowledge, to be able to process the information and utilize it is like top notch. You know what I'm saying? That's their level of intelligence. And so like, everybody's born with something. And ultimately the point of that is for the betterment of society as a whole. You know what I mean? What I lack, you may have. And so like, if I do what I'm good at and you do what you're good at, we're better together. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for the same throughout the world. You have people that are born with certain talent and abilities. And some people don't, and like I said, nobody's born with the same. Or some people are born with the same, but like everybody, there's a diversity. And the reason why is because everybody can contribute. Everybody has something they can bring to the table. You know what I mean? And so those innate abilities and gifts that you possess will tie into your purpose. So you have to be that. So once again, the first step is to get to know yourself and to be honest with who you are, what you can do, what you can't do. Then you say, okay, what I can do, I can use these things to find out how I can impact the world around me. You know what I mean? I can draw. It doesn't necessarily have, I personally can't draw. I drew some stuff for my children one time. We have a box of mirrors at the house. You know what I mean? Like, so it has different little pictures from, you know, when the kids were really small, and like there's a pair of pants. You know what I'm saying? My family white. There's a pair of pants that all of my kids wore. We call them the littlest pants. That's what we call them. Because my second son, he started walking when he was like 8.5 months. And so like he was just like, man, he's like this big, you know what I mean? And like, and it's funny because, you know, you have like little kid pants. Oh, I'm going way off topic. You know what I'm saying? I'm truly showing my age now as a proud papa. But you know, anyway, they were like some straight leg pants, and typically like little kid pants, they like shaped a little bit different, but they look like little like adult pair of pants, but they're like real little, you know what I mean? And so we call them the littlest pants, and everybody in the family wore them, so we have them rolled up in the box of memories. So all these little special little mementos are in the box of memories. Yeah, I mean, there's this one drawing that I drew because one of my, I can't remember which one of my children asked me to draw them a picture of a lion, and the picture is captioned Leo the lion, king of the jungle. Maybe I'll take a picture of it and post it one day. That's for the subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some type of bonus footage or something. But my family still makes fun of me to this day because of that picture. It ain't a very good picture. It's okay. I mean, it was fun. Yeah. For them, I guess. But like I said, you have things that you're good at and things that you're not. And you focus on the things that you're good at, and then you start trying to find ways, like, what is something this moves me? I'm passionate about this. Like one of my gifts is the ability to take information that's complex and then like break it down to where it's really simple to be understood. You know what I mean? I can talk pretty good. You know, have good conversation, and I can have conversation with anybody, really. And like, so that's why I'm doing the podcast thing. Like, I'm leaning to my strengths. You know what I mean? I always tell Clara, I say, Clara, like, you're really, really good at like extending conversation. She's like, everybody always tell, you're very good at conversation. That's the reason, like, we're going back to episode 1 now. The reason why I actually begged you to be on the show is because your ability to effectively communicate. That's a gift. Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't put their words together effectively. That's a gift. You know what I'm saying? And so then you use your gifts, you know what I'm saying, to be impactful. You know?
Yeah.
And that's a process, because you got to kind of figure out how you can use that gift and what way is it best to be used. Like, and then sometimes it's the timing of stuff, but you got to go through that process. You see what I'm saying? And so you have to, so like I said, your purpose will be tied to your gifts and your abilities. I mean, you've been quiet this whole time looking at me in my face. You want to add anything on top of that?
Yeah, no, there was something you said early on in what you were in the second point that I think is important we highlight, when you mentioned the fact that a lot of people have this tendency to associate and align their purpose with their career, their job. And I would go as far as saying, like, we shouldn't cheapen our purpose to a actual number value, like a money sign.
Correct.
Because you are devaluing it, you know? And when you bring up stuff like, you know, touch on what you're good at, touch on your talents and your abilities, no matter what they are, I think that it's a different level of connection with yourself when you allow yourself to really blossom in what it is that you're good at. When you start like committing yourself to those things and dedicating time and watching it grow, I think that what you will see happens is you'll kind of you'll transform into what you're supposed to be, you know, when you allow those things to blossom. It's not like when someone is telling you, you need to go to school and you need to get a job and you need to work a 9 to 5 and you need to make at least 80 grand and you need to start a family and you need to, it's not the same, because instead what's happening is you are allowing yourself to just like roses to a petal, you know, like they're just unfolding beautifully. It's organic. And then you become who you are supposed to become. You become a better version of who you are. And no one is telling you to do it. You are doing it on your own. And I think it's a beautiful process. And it might be scary. It might be difficult because society, family, friends, even our loved ones, they have a tendency of, because they mean well, of telling you what to do. Even on the internet, we see it all the time. We see, oh, you want to make $1 million? This is how you do it. Or we constantly are being told what to do. You have to sit there and ask yourself what you want to do. You have to sit there and ask, what am I capable of doing? And what do I feel happy doing? What do I feel like weightless doing? What do I feel like this is me when I'm in the act, when I'm doing it? And right there in that moment, when you take the time to like really think about it, that's you. That is who you are. That is who you're supposed to be. Utilize that. Grasp that moment and don't let it go, because that is the answer right there. And though, you know, your purpose can be anywhere, or it can be one thing, or it can be a daily thing, that's fine. But it's in those moments where you'll find the answer, in my opinion. Because when you are singing, you don't need a crowd to feel happy. If that's who you are, then that's who you are. And you don't need to satisfy, oh, well, you need to perform. You need to... No, all that doesn't matter. All that is just noise. What do you like? What do you want to do? So I think that is just a part of being true to yourself. So I love that point. I think it's a beautiful point.
Straight up. If you're listening, like I said, you're enjoying the conversation, go ahead and go into the comment section. Just type the word purpose, just so we know that you're listening and it's something that's beneficial to you. So take the time out, go down and just type purpose in the comment section. So listen, the last and final point I want to touch on is the number one obstacle that stops people from being able to find their purpose. Number one, pen and paper. Here we go. It's envy. People are so focused on other people's glory. I'll use that word. You know what I mean? And they obsess over other people's success and what other people are doing and the attention that other people are getting. And they don't take the time to actually appreciate their own gifts and abilities, their own strengths. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they undervalue their own value because they're so focused on chasing after someone else's path. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like it's a really sad thing.
Yeah.
You know,
they say comparison robs you of happiness all the time.
That is very true. You know what I mean? And the reality is that everybody is not going to be a world changer. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. Like, man, like you don't have to be the next billionaire. Like you don't have to go and perform in front of 10,000 people or 100,000 people in this stadium and like, you know, like you don't, or be the person that like break the touchdown record or, you know, all that. Like your life doesn't have, and nor will it be like that for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one record for one person. Like everybody can't break the record. You see what I'm saying? But that don't mean that your life doesn't have purpose. That don't mean that you don't impact other people's lives. And that's one of the things that's like super important for people to understand is that the lives that you impact are the ones that you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to feel the pressure to try to like change the world. All you got to do is just, in being who you are, you will impact the people that come in contact with you. Mm-hmm. And that's all that matters. Because reality is that like your life is just a ripple. The things that you do are ripples.
Yeah.
And they grow out and they touch other people. And the impact that you have on that one person may inspire them to do something else, which will ripple out and touch another person. Yeah. And go on. And that ripple may work its way all the way around the world. And like, but the idea there is not that, oh, I want to change the world, so I'm gonna have to start this ripple. No, it's just that we all are connected. You know what I mean? And that like what you do, you're passionate about, and what you give out is enough for you and the people in your area. You don't have to try to like, because reality is that like trying to pursue that level of fame or celebrity or impact, if you're not built for it, it's going to be a detriment to you. It's not going to be great. You're going to be like Whitney Houston, which drove her into drugs and all kind of other crazy stuff because I just want to sing. I don't want to be a celebrity. People look up to these celebrities and like, oh, wow, Kim Kardashian, all that. Like these people aren't like, that life is dangerous because you become an object instead of a person. And anytime a person is objectified, that's a very heavy weight on their mental health, their mentality. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like when people no longer see you as a person,
yeah,
they see you as an idea or like say an object, or
you're just not real.
Yeah, like exactly. Like that's when they be like, "Can I get your autograph?" And they like run up on you like you with your family, and it's like they don't treat you like a human being anymore.
Nor do they care.
Exactly. Yeah. Man, that's like, and that's one of the most like that's heartbreaking things.
Yeah, that is sad.
For people that just start out, I just want to share my talent. And then now it becomes you almost hate humanity because of the way they treat you. But at the end of the day, and you have to keep up this image that like you're this great thing, And the reality is that you're just a human being, man. And you will always be a human being. And I would say that anybody, as we finna wrap this thing up, anybody listening, you want to find your purpose, just remember in all of that, you're just a human being. You're going to be here for a short time on the earth, and then your time is going to be over, and then your place is going to be taken by another. And you don't have to be afraid of that. That's okay. That's natural. That's the way that it's supposed. That's the reason why you're here, is because you took somebody else's place on the earth. You don't have to like change history, man. Just do what you do while you're here. Lean to your strengths. Be who you are. Be the best version of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, take heed to the wisdom and the counsel that you're given to be the best version of yourself, and leave the impact on the people that come into your circle. That's all you got to do. You know what I mean? That's it for today. We're going to wrap this thing up. Subscribe, like, comment, rate, review. Do those things. We want to ask that you stay safe, stay blessed, and please stay human. We out.